In this video, I'm going to explain exactly what happens in our brain when you buy a product. And I'm going to explain why this is also relevant in the B2B sector and why understanding this is crucial in improving your marketing and sales efforts. So first of all, you have to understand that there are two systems in our brain. The unconscious brain, which is basically operating 95% of the time and making in 95% of the time all the decisions, and only if the systems in the unconscious brain can't make a decision on its own, it is strange, it doesn't get it and stuff like that, then the conscious part becomes activated. But the actual buying is an unconscious process. So the brain decides on to buy something or not in an unconscious way long before the conscious brain starts thinking about it. And the conscious brain only is saying, look, this is the reasoning behind it, but the unconscious brain already has decided on it. So that's what you need to understand. It's the unconscious brain that drives sales and drives marketing. So understanding what happens in our brain is really crucial. So when buying a product, there are two different areas in our brain that play a big part. First of all, it's the reward part. A product is nothing more than a reward for our brain. So our brain decides on how big is the reward, how good is this product helping me in getting something done. And this can be simple, like I'm hungry and I need to eat something, so that's something they want to get done then. But it's also in B2B the same. You want to get a job better done, and the better product helps you doing it, and the more urgent and the more important job to be done is, the more rewarding a product is. So that's the first part, and you can increase the perceived value or the actual of the reward part. Secondly, after the reward is big enough, then the brain wants to know, okay, but what does it cost? And the cost part is being processed by the pain area in the brain. So costs are literally pain. So this is why we want to avoid costs, because costs really hurt. And this is really important to understand, that costs are more than just financial part. So it's also how many effort do I have to do to obtain a reward. And in B2B, that's a lot of things. So I have to convince my colleagues. I have to, for example, when you sell software, I have to convince the IT department this is a good decision. This is all behavior. I have to convert my data. Already a solution, I have a certain certainty about that. And getting a new solution is also uncertain about will it really work or not for us. So this is, for example, where you can influence in a big way with testimonials and customer best practice and stuff like that. It's decreasing the risks and the costs of the reward of the cost part. So it's decreasing the pain part. It's not increasing the value, it's decreasing the risks, and this is the cost part. So you need to understand that. So better testimonials don't increase the perceived value, it decreases the cost of getting the value. And so this is why you need to understand those two things. And when a brain can make the sum, so this is the reward, this is the pain, then it says, okay, this is the netto value and I want it or not. And this is where the pricing question is very important. So a lot of people ask me, should I put my pricing on the website? Well, this is a more complex issue than the simple answer I'm going to give you right now. But in most cases, when the value of the reward of the product is not very clear, and in B2B this is very often, because you first need to understand it fully, how it could work for your organization, and this means sales is very important. And after that, you need to, when that is done, then it's okay to say, look, this is what it costs. So, the reward part in the brain, the pain part in the brain work together to decide on a net of value. And both parts can be influenced by increasing perceived value of the reward or the actual value of the reward, or decreasing the cost, the perceived value of the costs. So you can, for example, say, look, one-time payment, high cost, directly, it's something you pay in a subscription. So this is decreasing the cost, the perceived cost. So you can tune in both parts to increase the net of value and increase the chance on a sale by understanding how it works in our brain.